ದಾಗುಳುಂ ಹುರಿಪಲಿತ ಮಿಗುತುಂ ಕೇಂ ಬೊಯ್ಮುಗೆ ನುರಂಗಳು ಆದತಕ ಹೆಲಿಫೆಲಿವೆಗುಳುಂ ಮದೂಮಾ ದುಂಫತ್ ಕೇಸ್ತಿಮಾಲ್ ಕುರುಂ ಅದಿ ರಾಬುಯಿಂ ಫದ ಆದಕಾದತಂ ಹಿಮೆನೆ
Making headlines this hour. President Dr. Mohamed Muiz arrives in the United Kingdom for a series of high-level diplomatic engagements aimed at reinforcing the long-standing relationship between Male and London. The President's office publishes a detailed breakdown of political appointments, confirming that 922 individuals currently serve under Article 115F of the Constitution. And Vice President Hossein Mohamed Latif pledges support for Nolivaran Faro Hadal Atoll's development priorities.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to PSM News in English with me, Hafiz Abdul Sattar. Now the news in detail. President Dr. Mohamed Muiz arrives in the United Kingdom for a series of high-level diplomatic engagements aimed at reinforcing the long-standing relationship between Male and London.
The visit coincides with the 60th anniversary of formal diplomatic ties between the two countries. President Muiz was received with ceremonial honors by senior British officials, including Major Jeremy Fern, a special envoy of the King and representative deputy lieutenant for the London Borough of Waltham Forest, Gordon Wetherell, CMG, special representative of the Secretary of State for Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Affairs, and Irithisham Adam, High Commissioner of the Maldives to the United Kingdom and Ireland. Accompanied by a senior delegation, the President aims to broaden cooperation across a spectrum of strategic sectors. The visit, according to the President's office, encompasses dialogue on public administration, environmental and climate initiatives, trade and investment, and educational collaboration. The President is also expected to attend a business forum convened in London designed to promote deeper economic engagement between the Maldives and the UK. Diplomatic relations between the two nations were formally established on the 26th of July, 1965.
The President's office publishes a detailed breakdown of political appointments, confirming that 922 individuals currently serve under Article 115F of the Constitution in response to growing scrutiny and public demand for transparency. The figures trace a clearly defined administrative structure, with the highest tier comprising 20 ministerial posts and 14 appointments classified at ministerial rank. These are followed by 93 state ministers and 7 posts of comparable status. The next layer includes 216 deputy ministers and 20 deputy ministerial rank posts. Mid-level appointments comprise 318 senior political directors and 8 designated at an equivalent rank, with 169 political directors and 4 graded similarly. Completing the hierarchy are 4 assistant political directors and 49 positions listed under the general category of other political posts, bringing the total to 922. According to the President's office, the number of political appointments fluctuates over time. Resignations, terminations, and new designations contribute to continual changes during each presidential term. Vice President Hossein Mohamed Latif pledges support for Nolivaran Faro Hadal Atoll's development priorities. He gave the assurance at a meeting held with the members of the Nolivaran Faro Council to discuss key development concerns on the island. The meeting took place at the President's office. During the meeting, the Council members outlined the island's most pressing development needs. In this regard, the Council raised concerns regarding insufficient space at the island's school and requested the expected completion of new classrooms currently in progress. The Council also highlighted problems related to the water and sewage systems in the newly constructed housing units and emphasized the importance of expanding tourism on the island. Additionally, the members shared challenges stemming from the absence of a waste management system, the need to improve services at the health center, and the desire to implement further development projects aimed at enhancing the community's well-being. Acknowledging these concerns, the Vice President assured the Council that following discussions with the relevant authorities, efforts would be made to provide timely solutions to the challenges raised. Mohammed Saeed, Minister of Economic Development and Trade, describes the government's new trademark bill recently introduced to Parliament as long overdue and essential to building a trust within the domestic business sector.
The government has positioned the bill as a pivotal reform to attract foreign investment and strengthen the nation's intellectual property protections. It was introduced on the 14th of July. At the heart of the bill is an effort to strengthen intellectual property safeguards while advancing the interests of local producers and artists. It sets out a formal structure for trademark registration, a clarification of ownership rights, and the introduction of firm legal mechanisms to address infringement and counterfeiting. The draft legislation defines a trademark as any sign used to distinguish the goods or services of one party from those of another. Protections would hinge on official registration, enabling trademark holders to block unauthorized commercial use of identical or misleading similar marks. Specific exceptions to these rights are outlined within the text. Minister Saeed noted that the initiative marks a broader commitment to legal reform as a means of economic transformation. He noted the bill forms part of President Dr. Mohamed Muizz's Maldives Vision 2040, an agenda designed to guide the nation toward developed country status. Registration terms under the bill are set at 10 years with the option of renewal in successive 10-year periods. Provisions also empower courts to issue compensation in cases of infringement, including the recovery of legal costs required to restore trademark rights. The legislation outlines strong deterrence against counterfeiting, targeting the import, sale, and export of fraudulently trademarked goods. Fines imposed under these provisions range from $6,484.52 US and $129,690.34. To accommodate the transition, the bill includes a 12-month grace period for existing trademark holders to re-register under the new system. Registrations not updated by the deadline will be voided. Once ratified, the law is set to come into force following a one-year interval.
Maldives Revenue and Grants maintains its upward trend this year, posting an 8.9% increase from the same period last year.
According to the Ministry of Finance and Planning's weekly fiscal development report, the government posted $1.3 billion in revenue and grants as of the 10th of July. The figures showed that the government collected $998.7 million in tax revenue, accounting for 76.3% of the total revenue so far this year. Green tax revenue increased by 96.5% over the same period last year due to the change in tax rates amounting to $71.3 million, while revenue from airport service charges stood at $60.2 million, an increase of 54.4% from 2024. From the tax and non-tax revenue category, airport development fees recorded a 53.3% increase over the same period last year, totaling around $61 million. The significant increase coincided with a boost of 9.1% in tourist arrivals compared to the same period last year. With the increase in revenue, Sovereign Development Fund deposits also increased by 54.4%, reaching $71.3 million as of the 10th of July. Land acquisition and conversion fees, lease period extension fees, and rental income from resorts also increased during the period. With this increase, the total revenue and grants received by the state during the same period this year increased by 8.9% compared to the same period last year.
According to Maldives Airports Company Limited, Velana International Airport's a new passenger terminal set for inauguration on 26th July has received unanimous approval from airline operators.
The facility constitutes a major infrastructure upgrade and is expected to significantly improve travel to the country. Airline officials endorsed the terminal following a series of successful operational trials attended by industry representatives. The trials, overseen by MACL, assessed every phase of the passenger experience. Key focus included check-in procedures, terminal navigation, baggage handling systems, boarding operations, and arrival workflows such as customs clearance and baggage retrieval. Participation from airlines operating at VIA along with travel agents ensured a comprehensive evaluation, with MACL receiving feedback across all operational facets. Airline representatives who monitored the trials have responded positively, characterizing the project as a milestone in service delivery. Munaz Ali, chairman of the Airlines Operators Committee and airport manager for Etihad Airways, described the new terminal as meeting long-standing expectations. The broader industry view underscores the terminal's symbolic value. Ahmad Nahushan Nizar, vice chairman of the Airlines Operators Committee and airport service manager for Qatar Airways, emphasized the facility's potential to strengthen the country's global presence. Ahmad Hanam Faiz, station manager for Malaysia Airlines, commended MACL's inclusive operational access and affirmed the terminal's design, acknowledging both functional and aesthetic achievements. Outcomes from the trials confirmed the terminal's ability to deliver streamlined check-in processes through advanced technology and expanded infrastructure. Its layout supports smoother passenger movement and minimizes congestion, while upgraded baggage systems offer increased reliability and speed. New boarding bridges will enhance aircraft access, and arrival formalities have been redesigned for greater efficiency.
The Maldives Airports Company Limited invites all former presidents of the Maldives to attend the opening ceremony of Velana International Airport's new passenger terminal.
The new terminal is scheduled to open on the 26th of July to coincide with the 60th anniversary of Maldives' independence. While the opening date is just 10 days away, final preparations are currently underway. According to MACL, official invitations to all former presidents will be dispatched shortly. Velana International Airport was originally opened in 1960 during the presidency of former President Ibrahim Nasir. Over the past 65 years, successive administrations have contributed to its development, with major changes brought to the airport. The construction of VIA's new terminal began 9 years ago. However, the project faced significant delays, with only 54% of the work completed prior to the current administration taking office. When the new government took over, only some concrete work and the facade had been completed. Key components such as the duty-free commercial area of the terminal, much of the interior works, as well as the terminal's main road had yet to be contracted. The terminal's development has been one of the top priorities of President Dr. Mohamed Muiz upon assuming office. The president views the project as critical for the Maldivian economy. Within only 18 months of his administration, the project has now reached completion and is ready for official opening.
The Ministry of Islamic Affairs issues a nationwide call for public contributions encompassing both book donations and purchase proposals as part of a broader campaign to develop Islamic libraries across the country. The initiative commenced with the formal opening of a library at the King Salman Mosque and is set to extend it to Islamic centers in multiple atolls. The scope of contributions is outlined by the ministry, spans subjects such as Islamic finance, children's literature, educational resources, and text addressing social and economic issues, alongside general literary works. To ensure broad accessibility, submissions in both Diwahi and English are encouraged. As part of the rollout, the ministry has defined distinct procedures for contributors. Those wishing to donate books to the King Salman Mosque Islamic Library must submit detailed information regarding their proposed contributions via email to library@islamicAffairs.gov.mb by 2 p.m. on 31st July. Logistics for accepted donations will be coordinated directly by the ministry. A separate process applies to publishers, booksellers and individual vendors seeking to supply books for purchase. According to the ministry, interested parties must first register by 2 p.m. on Tuesday, 22nd July. Once registered, they may submit proposals, complete book titles and pricing at 11 a.m. on Thursday, 31st July 2025. The library at King Salman Mosque was formally inaugurated on 12th July. At the inauguration ceremony, Islamic Affairs Minister Dr. Muhammad Shahim Ali Saeed stated that the administration remains committed to ensuring library facilities are in place at every Islamic center nationwide before the year's end. The Maldives Broadcasting Commission and China's National Radio and Television signed an agreement aimed at enhancing cooperation between the two countries in the broadcasting and audiovisual sectors.
The agreement was signed by President of the Broadcasting Commission, Safa Shafiq, and the Minister of the National Radio and Television Administration of China, Cao Shu-min, during the television festival held in Xi'an, Shanxi province of China. The festival, held from the 15th to the 17th of July, focused on policy making, information exchange, and technological cooperation in broadcasting, television, and online media among member states of Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Under the agreement, both parties will cooperate in broadcasting and audiovisual operations, discuss regulatory policies, explore the historical and cultural resources of both countries, and assist television stations in producing varieties of audiovisual programs such as TV series, animation, and documentaries. Under the agreement, support will be provided to broadcasters, audiovisual and new media stations in both countries and cooperate and assist in broadcasting as well as in the field of online audiovisual technology. In addition, both countries will jointly develop and implement training programs in areas such as artificial intelligence, audiovisual media management, technology, and content production to address the challenges faced in the media sector.
Canada seeks to finalize a free trade deal with Southeast Asian nations as part of a push to expand into new markets, its top diplomat said, responding to the hefty tariffs imposed onto it by United States, its neighbor and largest trade partner.
Foreign Minister Anita Anand said Canada intends to continue a multilateral trade relationship with the 10-member Association of Southeast Asian Nations. She added Canada believes the global economy will be driven by the Indo-Pacific region in the years ahead. Anand said the ASEAN-Canada FTA is one of the ways Canada can diversify its trade relations beyond the group of 7 nations. To conclude her press, she stated beyond trade, Canada will also work with ASEAN on energy, food security, digital economy, and artificial intelligence.
The UN Special Rapporteur on the Palestinian-occupied territories, Francesca Albanese, calls the Hague Group bloc of states to break economic ties with Israel during her visit to Colombia.
Albanese is attending a 2-day emergency conference in Bogota with the group of 32 countries forming the Hague Group. The Hague Group seeks to adopt coordinated legal and diplomatic measures against Israel's violations of international law in Gaza and the occupied Palestinian territories. The 32 participating countries include Brazil, Chile, Spain, Ireland, Mexico, South Africa, Colombia, and Venezuela. Italian lawyer Albanese is one of dozens of experts appointed by the 47-member UN Human Rights Council to report on specific global issues.
I do believe that the US is totally complicit with whatever Israel is doing, but to the point that with the new administration, even the forced displacement of the Palestinians, which has occurred for decades under the watch of everyone, including the United States, has become part of the US foreign policy, while declaring that Gaza is a construction site, is to be turned into the Gaza Riviera and the Riviera of the Mediterranean Sea. and also the US is clear, not only has provided weapons, is the first arms suppliers of Israel, followed by Germany, against which there is a pending case for genocide, by the way, but has also provided political support and is really engaging into mafia-style intimidation of so many who are trying to stop it.
She has long criticized Israeli treatment of the Palestinians and this month published a report accusing over 60 companies, including some U.S. firms, of supporting Israeli settlements in the West Bank and military actions in Gaza. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced Albanese would be added to the U.S. sanctions list for work which had prompted what he described as illegitimate prosecutions of Israelis at the International Criminal Court.
Organizers of the Milano Cortina 2026 Winter Olympics unveils the medals that will be awarded to athletes during the Games next year.
The medals have the traditional Olympic 5-ring symbol on one side with an inscription on the reverse that details the event and commemorates the venue. The same format has been used for the Paralympics, which has its own distinct symbol. They were presented at a ceremony in Venice that featured two celebrated retired Italian athletes, swimmer Federica Pellegrini and Francesca Porcelato, who has won gold medals at both Winter and Summer Paralympics.
Low-profile medal, but at the same time it's really elegant, classic, and the idea of these two halves, yes, connected each other with, of course, the symbol of the Games, Olympic and Paralympic.
The medals have been produced by the IPZS, the State Mint, which is owned by the Economy Ministry. A total of 245 gold, 245 silver, and 245 bronze medals will be presented during the Winter Games. In the Paralympics, 137 medals will be awarded in each of the three rankings. Milan and the town of Cortina Tampezzo, one of Italy's most famous ski resorts, are the main hosts of the Games, which run from February 6 to 22, 2026. The Paralympics will follow the following month.
Almost 30 years after Britain's Princess Diana walked through minefields in Angola, bringing global attention to a devastating issue in war-ravaged countries, an Australian innovation could revolutionize landmine clearance.
MRED, or Magnetic Resonance of Explosives and Drugs, in collaboration with the Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Organization, has developed the first handheld device using low-frequency waves to identify the molecular signatures of explosives. Unlike traditional metal detectors or ground-penetrating radar, which detects metals or shapes, this device can confirm the presence of specific explosives, offering a significant technological advancement. Anti-personnel landmines are designed to be hidden in the ground and detonate automatically when someone steps on them or passes by them. According to NATO's Strategic Warfare Development Command, there are still 110 million landmines in countries around the world, with the world's largest landmine clearance charity, the Halo Trust, adding over 5,700 civilians were killed or injured by landmines and explosives in 2023. In a painstakingly careful process, it is estimated about 117,000 mines are cleared each year. MRED says their handheld landmine detector can speed up mine clearing by at least 30% after successful trials in the Angola minefields that Princess Diana walked through.
Every explosive or drugs which we detect has a fingerprint. We are the only sensor that can detect the actual fingerprint. So not that there's an anomaly there, as we talked about earlier, it's just this is that substance. It's as binary as that.
MRED expects to go back to Angola in 2026 for an extended 3-month trial with the Halo Trust, expecting that by the end of 2026 they will have developed the final model that can be deployed in early 2027. According to the United Nations Mine Action Service 2025 figures, an estimated 100 million people in more than 60 countries and territories live with the threat of landmines and explosive ordnance, with Ukraine the most heavily contaminated country in the world.
And that's all we have for this hour. Thank you for watching. Wish you all a very pleasant night ahead.